People, deluded. I'm back again. At this moment in time, if you're watching this video, Nicolas Pépé is officially an Arsenal player, officially a Gooner. First and foremost, welcome to the family, welcome to the team. I'm happy to have him, people. He's a quality player. He's got what we need in terms of what we're lacking, and he's a good player. Keen to see what he does with Lacazette and Aubameyang, assuming they're all on the pitch at the same time. I'm keen to see the different combinations because Pepe actually doesn't need to be on the team sheet all the time. Neither does Lacazette, neither does Aubameyang, and at times they all do. So different options gives us different sort of ammunition to go to other teams with. Like I said, sometimes Lacazette, Aubameyang's their skill set might be required together. We know they've got a good partnership. Pepe obviously can play on the flanks, but I wouldn't rule out playing in other positions in the game and coming inside with the modern day, what the modern day winger is doing nowadays. You look at Salah. If someone says Mo Salah to me, initially you're thinking not road runner because he's got ability, but road runner hung in the touchline. Some elements of him, he is that, people, but you know he comes inside and he hugs up a lot of central positions. Zaha, we were linked with Zaha. Zaha does the same. I'm keen to see Pepe does do that. He did do that for Lille when he linked up with Bamba and Ekone, forgive me if I'm wrong, and the rest of them look sort of young little French players that they're getting for deals that Lille sort of do. So he does. Don't just downplay him. Obviously, you want him to kind of hug the touchline at times and take on his fullback and be a dribbler and kind of penetrate the opposition and install what we're lacking. Because we do have players that can dribble, but when you're looking at the Arsenal side without him, there's not really any dribblers there, really and truly. We know that, again, people stay with me. There are players that can dribble, but there's not players who can dribble to a mad standard that any fullback, in my opinion, thinks, yo, I'm scared to play against him, sort of thing. Obviously, if you've got Aubameyang on the flanks, he's fast, and I'm not saying our wide options don't present troubles to opposition at times. We've scored a lot of goals, but you get the point. So Pepe, there's a lot of development for him to do. I feel, obviously, people, what was said with all the whole protests and all of these things, we'll see as how the club moves forward. But at the end of the day, Pepe has signed for an outlay allegedly of 72 million, assuming he hits certain bonuses and targets whichever Arsenal and Leo have agreed. It will reach 72 million. Hopefully it does, because we want him to obviously be a good player fundamentally for Arsenal. That's first and foremost what he's here for. I think initially, based on what I've read, I can't speak for officially and all of these other things, but it's 20 million or so outlay up front, and it's certain installments and all of these sort of things. Let's not harp on about finances and pretend we know what we're talking about as such. I can't lie, people, it's not bad for installments, FC. I feel as well, on top of his fee, obviously Arsenal were lacking, I don't want to say we're lacking quality players because it's disrespectful, but at the same time we're lacking players that you sit up and think, wow, when Pepe is 24 years of age, he is a good player. He's had 2 good stellar years in particular for Lille. I'm sure the third year, well, his 2 previous years, the third, if we go back his third season, if that makes sense with you, I'm sure there was a year he only scored 3 goals, but for these last 18 months, he's really developed rapidly. I remember he had a good game. I'm so sure Lille beat PSG 4-5-1? One of them mad results last season. Apologies, this is all off the dome. I should have really done my research, people. But I'm sure Lille pulled a shock against PSG and he done well in that game. If it wasn't this season, it was last. And if it wasn't one of them, then I'm bugging out. But I'm sure he's played well. Obviously, people, he was very prolific in front of goal. If we just take a second to bring up his statistics. Before I carry on top of his transfer fee, like I was saying before I started waffling, let's not put unrealistic expectations at him. At the end of the day, he's bought for an outlay of 72 million. He has to do dirt for the team. He needs to score and assist. That's why he's here. That's the question marks that are going to happen. We know the English media, and they don't give players 6 months or something to adapt. They know that there might be a tough period. I hope he hits the ground running similar to Alexis Sanchez, where he just started scoring from the day dot. I hope he doesn't need that period to adapt. But if he does, we need to be prepared for that, because yes, he was bought for big money and he's going to be a star player of sorts at Arsenal, but he never picked that transfer. He's 24 years of age. Like I just said at the beginning, he's had 2 stellar good years, people, in particular for his team, his previous employers now at this point. 17-18 season, 13 goals, 5 assists. Last season, obviously, 22 goals, 11 assists. Obviously, I do believe he won 9 penalties and 6 of them he was one himself. So it's nice to see we've got another penalty taker in the team. Fundamentally, Aubameyang, Lacazette's a good penalty taker, and Aubameyang, he's alright. He has missed, but he's alright. The strikers there will be competing, but it's nice to see another man can step up. It's nice to see that he's winning these penalties as well, because he's obviously a winger. If he's not scoring in the system, we want him to. We're not saying dive and things, but that shows if he's getting penalties, and that shows that he's taking people on, he's provoking them in awkward situations to foul him and things. And it goes back to what I said at the beginning. We are statistically, I don't have them with me, sounds silly, we're lacking wingers in this team. Yes, Iwobi can dribble as such. Nelson's come into the team, it appears, for this season. There are you see Kolasinac does his thing on the left hand side at fullback at times. There are players that can, obviously they can dribble, but we are lacking dribblers. That's actually one thing I like about Ceballos. His dribbling is obviously not pacey, but he's a strong dribbler with a ball and things like that. So it'll be nice to see, I know I'm going off topic, but how Ceballos will actually gel in, because one thing about him is he likes to get the ball from deep at times and provoke oppositions. If he'll do that via driving at the opposition or like passing the ball around and that, it'll be promising together with, like I said, Pepe and Lacazette and Aubameyang. It'll be keen to see. And I'm not Arsenal fans, we're a bit weird because we cry about lack of options, and then when these options are here, we're always like, oh, but this guy's not going to play, and this guy, and what about this guy, we need to sell him, and sell Aubameyang because of his age, sell Lacazette because Aubameyang scored 22 league goals, how is Pepe going to get in? That's a good questions, and it's good to talk about. And Emre, that's a good headache. That's what I call a good headache to have, people. That is a good headache for Emre to have, deciding how he uses them and stuff. Obviously, it's down to him to get the best out of them. If he doesn't find a system or two that isn't working, then we look at what Emre's doing right and wrong. But it's a good headache to have, and it's good options for me. I think Pepe and Reiss Nelson, obviously Reiss Nelson wasn't bought, but he's come back into the team, and to quote a former manager, and it does sound cliche, people, it is like a new signing. I'm not expecting fireworks from Nelson. I've made enough vids and spoken enough points. I'm not going to get into detail on that. I'm not expecting fireworks. I'm going to encourage him, and I want him to do his thing, and he is promising. But he's a young player. I'm not going to put unrealistic expectations. But in terms of his skill set, he likes to take people on. Him and Pepe are two players that were here last season that can help us. I don't want to disrespect any players, but if you look at, there was a time I saw Mkhitaryan and Ozil on our flanks. Now, they are good, decent players. No, let's not talk about what they're doing in the season and forming that, but they are good, two good technical players. They're not going to scare you at fullback. Obviously, if Ozil and Mkhitaryan playing against me, he'll destroy me, of course. Like, he would scare me, and Mkhitaryan plays on the right-hand flank at times, and probably fundamentally you'd say at Arsenal. But at the same time, these players, their skill set is more to come onto the ball and come deep and get onto the ball and link up play and things like that. They're not wingers. If you're a fullback, you're seeing them come narrow and stuff, and you're encouraged. Because what does that tell you? Okay, I have no one to mark. Mate, I thought we're playing Arsenal, top six side, we're going to have to defend and that. We're not defending today. And when you're holding up the ball, look for the overlap. And then what do you see, people, particularly away from home? The fullbacks of the opposition getting encouraged and gassed off their fans as well, because they're playing like this, putting balls in. Arsenal already, I tell the truth, people, I'm not criticising my bad mind thing with my team, but we have a problem defending in many aspects. And especially during in the air and aerial defending and stuff. Like I just said about the fullbacks, you put balls into the box of a team that can't defend from the air and has question marks defensively, you're going to score goals. We have issues following runners. Not to dig out young Joe Willock because he's developing and stuff. And Chambers, I feel Chambers has been alright in pre-season. But just to highlight them two in our latest game against Lyon, they switched off for Dembele's first goal from the header. That's not their fault. If you look at the moments, even though we beat Fiorentina, there was moments against Fiorentina, Bayern Munich, and obviously conceding 2 goals within 3 minutes against Madrid. Do you get it, people? Do you get it? So we've got a lot to think about, sort of thing. But I'm happy Pepe's here. I hope he hits the ground running. I hope he does his thing and whatnot, people. What I'm going to try and do myself, and I might make a couple of vids, I'm going to look at all of his goals in fact I probably won't make a vid, but over the last 2 seasons, I'm going to look at every goal and actually what sort of goal is he scored, people. Because I love him, but if I'm, as someone that was a fullback in my grassroots days, one weakness, and it's not a weakness because Robin wasn't using his right foot and he'll destroy you. He is he does use his right foot, but I would have him down as extremely quite left-footed, people, as much as I like him. I'm happy with him, people. I wasn't really sold on him when he was at Angers and stuff. That's when I wasn't watching him every week, but he was a decent player and things like that. And similar to Hakim Ziyech in that, completely different ages in that, but Hakim Ziyech was about on the scene for a while, and if you offered him probably 3-4 years ago, no one tell lies here, no disrespect to him, but people would have been like, he's a good player. Now, people are screaming him, myself included, you get it? Even Mo Salah was the same. To a degree, that was that with Pepe, and over these last, you've seen my vids, and obviously it's not just me saying we should have went for him, and he's not an unknown player, but I did say we should go for him. he's excelled over the last, I keep saying 18 months, but really it's 2 seasons in particular. Like I said, to highlight the point again, 22 league goals last season, 11 assists. I look at these players, and also obviously you want them to score and make the difference, but you also got to look at players what they're doing without the ball. And it's nice to see he's got some assists. I think the season before that, like I said, he got 5 assists. That's all right. I mean, Lacazette, you'd have him down as the assist king. We all say he needs to put a player like him. I believe Lacazette should be getting 20 league goals. He's good enough for that, innit? Especially in the big games. But he's got, what did he get? I don't know. Did he get 10 assists inside or something like that in the Prem, people? I don't know. Look silly. Was it 13 and 10 or something? I don't know. I don't have the stats to hand, people. But Lacazette did his thing in terms of assists. You'd like to think Pepe, if he's not scoring, he's going to chip in terms of assists. So Bios, I don't want to put unnecessary pressure on guys because he's going to need to adapt himself and whatnot. You'd like to think because of his skill set and trying to get in the final third, he'd be good for assists. Guendouzi's got a lot of developing, but purely on the fact that him and Iwobi get into the final third, potentially they could do more in terms of end product. Statistically, Iwobi's improved, and I like him in the squad, so I'm not criticising him. I'm happy for Pepe, man. I'm happy we signed Pepe as well, fundamentally, people, because we just need some side. We need some hope, man. Whether we get top 4 and things like that, I believe in fans. Fundamentally, you should be able to look at your team and have some sort of optimism, excitement, because before we talk about Premier League trophies and things or whatever your team's trying to do, that's why we support football, people. Support football teams and watch the game and stuff. So it's nice to see the signings. It has fans stop bickering and that for one. It's got some sort of optimism and excitement because I can't speak for no one. When we lost the Europa League final, I'm optimistic this season. But in terms of top 4, if you ask me right now, people, July the 30th, when I've made this video, July the 30th, I don't think we're getting top 4. I want to be wrong. If I see different things and people coming into the club and we pass certain hurdles and do certain tests, people, of course I can change my mind. What idiot wouldn't? If I'm presented with new information and facts, it will change. That's the logical things, isn't it? Football's not logical, it's ironic. But you get it. Right now I don't think we're going to. But with Pepe, Lacazette and Aubameyang, at least that's an attack or some options in theory that should strike fear into oppositions. Fundamentally, our problems, like if we are to have problems, I'm trying to be hopeful. If we're not, hopefully this season upcoming is calm, top 4. We never lose a game. I'm being optimistic, but our problems will come down to defending. Hopefully at times when, last season there was times we obviously had to claw games back and we struggled to claw games statistically back from losing positions. Pepe, on theory, there's another man that scores goals, should help us. But our problems will come back to defending. For me, we need a centre-half. It's encouraging that you're hearing Mustafi, there's time for Mustafi to go and whatnot, and apparently we're trying to get him out the door. Obviously, Koscielny, he's made his bed, he's got a lie in it. On paper, that's 2 centre-halves out. I don't know if the club will let both of them go at the same time without bringing in another one. I mean, surely, people, one more will come in, or a centre-half. Some capacity, centre-half, people. We don't know if it's going to be a good one, a young one, and so on. No, just a centre-half, surely, in terms of a body. Because we'll be very pressed if them two leave, to be fair with you. And obviously there's talk of Tony. I just really want to get that one done because I believe we need a left back and a centre half. If we can obviously get a midfielder on loan on paper in Ceballos, a left back in Turney, if to happen, a centre half for this season on top of Saliba obviously, and Pepe is the icing on top of the cake. It's a good window in terms of incomings. Outgoings, it's a different story and it's a different vid, admittedly, people. I could sit here and you could sit here too and name all the players that should be moved on, whether they could or would or whatever. We'll see in it. Maybe, I don't know if I've actually brought this video out, but maybe when we confirm some of these signings and whatnot and get all of our business out of the way, maybe there'll be more of a push, maybe a late push towards the end of the window in terms of getting some of these players out, finding them either permanent or temporary homes. I don't know, that's just me, because like I said, it's the 30th of July. The window shuts, what people, forgive me if I'm wrong, the 8th of August, I could be wrong, 8th of August. That's a long time in football terms. There's a lot of hours, people. You got to look at football in hours. There's a lot of hours for deals to get done and people to fly places and call and do certain things, because that's all it really takes to get a transfer going. These things are random. It's early days and we're football fans, so we don't truly know what is happening really and truly if we cut the crap. So we'll delay extended and final opinions until the window is closed. But for now, people, thank you for listening to me waffle on. This was meant to be just about Pepe, and I hope fundamentally it has been about Pepe, but we've spoken a lot about Arsenal in general, and I've been here longer than I need to be. Got another video to make, so I'm going to keep it moving. People, thank you. God bless. Deluded. Thank you for watching and rocking.